Welcome back to Cigar Time, your ever so friendly show all about premium cigars, brought to you every Tuesday night at this time. Yeah, much better than the intro last week.
I forgot the intro last week.
You gave me credit. The intro last week was kind of flat.
I don't remember what it was, but
yeah, you mocked my, my very, very
Rob
friendly.
did, not me. Rob was heading the show.
Yeah, well, that's why he's not on the show.
You're such a baby. I swear to God. You're 5 years old.
Hey, look, I only talk the lines. I don't write them. We're very pleased to have Craig Cunningham, the president, major domo, and owner of Esteban Carreras Cigars, which is a boutique line that's been established for many, many years now. Pretty hot seller in some of our stores, and we want to push it into more of our stores and get behind it. Craig and his rep up here, John, are great people. We've known them for a long, long time. At least, what, a month or two?
6 weeks, 7 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, at least.
Go way back.
Go way, way back. Sounds like a hamburger stand, way back. Anyway, we're going to talk about Esteban Carreras today. Who is Esteban Carreras? It's not you.
Oh, wait, well, before we get into it, can we light?
Oh, yeah, let's
That'd be
light.
fantastic.
Yeah, let's light. All right, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, so we're going to be smoking the Mr. Brownstone today.
Mr.
I wish I would have kept the band on. It's just a gorgeous presentation. Oh, they can see it.
You can't. It doesn't
Lots and
smoke
lots
as
of
well.
bands.
It
Yeah.
doesn't smoke as well.
I
as
know
that.
it doesn't smoke with a band on, but it's just gorgeous presentation.
It's a nice presentation.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's important. When people walk in the humidor, the aesthetics get you.
Hey, the best cigar in the world is no good if you don't try it. So we got to, as people are walking through the humidor, they look at something, they got to go, well, you know what, that looks pretty good. And then we're in a certain price point that seems something we can do between $7 and $10,
Yeah,
almost
right
all our stuff. As premium as a cigar can be, but
Oh, yeah.
We said that many times. Like marketing sells the first cigar, the blenders sell the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
we got to get it in your mouth one time, and we do everything we can to do that. And then after that, hopefully you come back, and people seem to be doing that.
That's good.
Mr. Brownstone.
Well, let's find out who Esteban is first. Then let's
Yeah,
find out who
yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Brownstone is.
So Esteban Carreras comes from human folklore. When Castro went into Havana, they didn't think he was going to be there for a long time.
Sure.
And he went out in a small radius and went up to the Fuegos and the Tiranos and said, give us the keys to your car, your house, your tractor. And by the way, that brand you own, Romeo and Julieta or Partagas,
That's what
this is
happened.
communism.
Yeah,
You're going to love it.
National.
59. The end of 59.
So Esteban Carreras was part of what they called vigilante cigar makers. He was taking tobacco from that small radius and moving out farther to people in his family, but of course that was against the law with Castro. In '61, he went over to fight in the Bay of Pigs, and Kennedy flies the planes over and doesn't do anything, and that whole debacle. So
You know what
Esteban,
the shame of it is? The vast majority of our audience, since that was over 55 years ago, the vast majority of our audience is not as familiar with all the Bay of Pigs and the,
yeah, I do kind of assume that people know the Kennedy debacle and all that when it's
I
not
mean,
very true anymore.
it's amazing. Probably more people watching don't know than do know. Although our audience skews to a slightly older audience, so maybe they do know.
Well, maybe this is an educational show now, I
Yes,
guess.
there you go. We tried.
So he goes over to the Bay of Pigs to fight in the Bay of Pigs, and he was captured, and then he died of natural causes 4 days later because he was
Natural cause.
lead poisoning.
Yeah.
Oh,
But going back to the young people, I tell this
but it was
story.
a holy killing.
Sure. Che Guevara, the hero, shot him in the back or something. Going about demographics, I tell this story about Jackie Gleason goes into the doctor, and he's got high blood pressure and overweight, and they go, you know, Jackie, if you quit drinking and you quit smoking, you'll live a lot longer. He goes, no, doc, it'll just seem a lot longer.
That's good.
But I told that story to a couple 30-year-olds. I've been telling this story for 5 years. And at the end of the story, they go, who's Jackie Gleason? And it happened to me twice in 1 week.
I know. It's sad.
And I go, oh my gosh,
Now
you
you
don't know who Jackie Gleason
You
is.
feel old.
Yeah. You missed some good humor.
He was
Jackie
good humor.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I know who he is.
Yeah,
He's
see?
a honeymooner.
Yeah, see?
Exactly right.
Thank
It's amazing.
you.
They only made
Study.
39 episodes of The Honeymooner, and yet everybody in the world probably has seen
Only
it.
39?
Only?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And it
amazing.
also was the first show shot with 2 cameras back in the day, back in the 50s. It
I
the
thought that was
first-
Lucille Ball. I thought there was a one-camera show, no?
It was Jackie Gleason innovated that. He innovated a lot of things.
So
They
that
love
was
him in Miami. I
kind
know
of the
that.
start of editing.
Yeah.
Hmm?
That was one beginning of editing then?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, well, they had to, sure, yeah.
Well, yeah.
So,
Okay.
so what, we're smoking Mr. Brownstone.
Mr. Brownstone.
Okay.
All right, we're still on the story, right?
I don't know.
No, the story ended when
Oh, the story's
he
over.
died.
Okay.
Was the end of the
kinda-
story, yeah.
it ended
You know,
with
every
that.
time I see a teenager walking around with a Che Guevara shirt on,
Oh.
I mean, I want to run over and say to the young person, do you actually know who this person was, besides being a Bolivian doctor? I mean, people don't realize that he was a very bloodthirsty socialist. I mean, you know, I know it's not popular to talk about political affiliations and such like that, especially with the way the country is anymore. But I mean, I have been to Cuba, as most of you know, 30 odd times, and the amazing thing is, in Cuba, although there's a lot of things that honor Che Guevara, not much, you know, well, Fidel is dead now, so I haven't been there since he died, but they didn't honor living heroes. They honored more dead heroes. So there's plenty of things about Che. But when you talk to young people in Cuba who are fairly well educated, they know who he was, and they don't respect him
Oh, wow.
as much. I mean, in Cuba. So they realized, and of course he met a terrible end, but there's a huge, near outside of Cienfuegos on the way to Santa Clara, there's a huge memorial. I've been there and have pictures of it and everything. But that's about it. There's not a whole lot in Cuba even that honors Che.
It's the younger people who don't know what he did.
No, not at all. Let's get back to cigars.
So, Mr. Brownstone.
Mr. Brownstone.
Who's
Hey, Mr. Brownstone. Who's he?
What we learned is we used to make cigars and we thought we made great cigars, and people would come back a month later and go, you know what, I smoked this cigar about a month ago. It was about this long, it was brown, it was round. I think
Wow.
it was Limit Special.
That-
So at some point we go, well, you've earned
that
a
really
customer.
narrowed it down.
But you see them, you come in and they go, I think it had a red band, and you go into your humidor.
Yeah,
They had
10,000
gold in the
red
band.
bands.
Oh,
yeah.
did it?
But you find something, you go, is that it? And they go, yeah. And they go, that's got a blue band and it has a completely different name. So we
Right.
so we learned with Chupacabra, if you can name something that people can remember 2 or 3 months later, and you know with Chupacabra, they can come in and go, the Chupa Dupa
Yeah,
Cuba,
exactly,
and you
yeah,
go
yeah.
Chupacabra there.
Exactly.
Yep.
So you've done everything it takes to get somebody to really like a cigar, and now you've lost a customer because they couldn't remember the name. So our last 4 cigars, which are our best sellers, Chupacabra, Hellcat, which people can remember, and then Mr. Brownstone, which is just something that I'll test names with my customers back in my store back in California, and I'll give them a list and say, here's 10 names, and they go, what do you want me to do with that? I give it to them for a half hour, and I come back 3 days later and I go, what do you remember? Because you've done everything you can to earn that customer. They got a great cigar, but they may not smoke it for a month. They come and they can't remember the name.
No.
You lost that customer.
Yeah. It's true.
Where's your store in California?
So we're in. I was in Dana Point for 20 years,
Oh, I love Dana Point. Oh.
but Dana Point went non-smoking. Love my city council, so we moved 3 miles to San
Last time I
Clemente.
played croquet was at the Hope Famous Hotel there.
Where's Dana Point?
So it's right between San Diego and Los Angeles, right on the water. It's Laguna Beach, Dana Point,
Yeah,
San Diego.
yeah.
Okay.
It's probably closer to LA than it is.
That's right in the middle,
Right-
50
right
miles each
smack
way.
dab?
50
Yeah.
miles each way, yeah.
Yeah.
And tell us about the blend on this one.
So this is Connecticut broadleaf Maduro, Nicaraguan binder and filler. We use a lot of Nicaraguan binder and filler, usually from Esteli, Condegan, and Jalapa. So Nicaraguan broadleaf Maduro was tough to get. So we released this last July, but I started buying that wrapper 18 months in advance. And I could only get a couple bales from Nica Prosa, which is where we buy most of our wrapper and most of our stuff. They're known as the best tobacco. You pay a little bit more, but no one's going to argue with you that Oliva or Nica Prosa makes the best stuff. But you've got to kind of get in the channel, and we have a great relationship with them, with Gustavo Curro over there. But I could buy a couple bales and a couple more bales, and then when more comes out, you got to get in that chain where you're getting 4 or 5 bales. So now we get what we need, but I had to stock that stuff up and we roll this stuff. When we come out with a cigar, we come out with 1 cigar a year. So we have tours down there, and we got to get you on one of those tours. We go down to the beach house and do the whole thing, and it's phenomenal.
Nice.
But we're already testing the cigar with the people coming through the tours. They've picked out a cigar they like, and I usually like to go, do you think you can sell that for $12 in your store? And they go, yeah. I go, good, it's going to be $9. So we know we got a winner. The last 4 cigars we come out with have all sold very well, but we've tested them with the people in the tours. So we had a nice stock of Connecticut broadleaf Maduro. We rolled the cigars 7 or 8 months in advance. These cigars still, you're getting cigars that are rolled 7, 8 months in advance because we released a certain amount of them. It's our best-selling cigar. We came out with Hellcat the year before at the show, and we sold out of it in 3 weeks. I actually sat my guys down before the show, and I go, look, we're not going to have another Hellcat. We sold out of this in 3 days.
Wow.
So it's these last 2 have been real barnstormers. They're very different. This is very rich and smooth, the Hellcat is. This is more full-flavored Connecticut broadleaf Maduro, but the responses have been absolutely incredible for us.
Well, I think at this point we should give our initial impressions.
You can tell it's a broadleaf. It's,
Oh, yeah.
it's very sweet. I'm thinking back to what you used to say all the time. At first light, it reminded me of a milkshake,
Yep.
a chocolate
Yep.
milkshake.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not sure about the strength yet. At first, it felt really strong, but I'm not sure right now.
Smoothed out.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
quickly.
and quickly,
Smoothed out,
yes,
yes.
So I'm not sure on the strength yet. I'm gonna guess medium, between medium and medium full.
I'd say medium full, but it's got a little back note, a little bit of tiny bit of
Yep.
sweetness in there.
Yep.
Yes.
And of course
Yeah,
not,
it is.
As
some
a
of the
good
people out there,
broadleaf should.
Yes.
and not any, artificial sweetness, just good tobacco, slight sweetness on there. It gives it a good balance. But it's got a lot of flavor in it. It's definitely not, it's not below a medium, or I would never call it a medium. It's on a full set of medium.
And I got a funny feeling the more you're getting into this, the more it's gonna,
Probably
give you a
pick
little,
up.
give you a little kick.
Yeah.
T?
I have to agree with Scott.
That's scary.
Except for the milkshake part. No, I'm actually getting just a subtle hint of spice. I don't know if it's like a pepper or spice, but it's something. Could be related to the strength, but I'm not sure. But I'm getting something
You
there.
think it's- is
and it's
it-
in the back of my tongue.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, do you think it's a flavor or is it a mouthfeel spice?
It's
You know
a
what I mean?
mouthfeel spice.
Because that's what I'm
yeah,
thinking.
it's a mouthfeel spice.
On the last puff
Because
got
I can't
right here.
identify it, but you can feel it.
Uh-huh.
When you first light it up, you did get a blast, but it just second puff, it was gone. So that was, to me, it was kind of cool.
Actually, I'm getting more of it now.
Well,
Yeah.
you're further
I
in
think
than
it'll
I
get fuller
am.
as you get down to it, but yeah, we're going 1/4 inch in.
You can
Yeah.
tell this is going to be a complex cigar while you're smoking it.
As far as I know, at first draw, I like the draw on it. The flavor of it, to me, it is sweet. I taste like something raisiny. I don't know. I'm not getting any of the pepper or the mouthfeel that they're speaking of, but I have yet to get as far in as they are in. So far, so good.
Do you feel cigars taste different in the cold?
That's an interesting question.
I've never smoked a cigar on this type of temperature before, so.
You know what? Cold will tend to dry a cigar out.
Uh-huh.
We'll take the oils out of it. So I guess if it really got cold and it really was subject to the oils evaporating to some degree, I guess it would change the complexion of the taste.
I just don't like smoking mine outside. It's too cold because I want to rush it. Like I don't want to. I can't enjoy it because I'm too busy rushing to
Yeah, well,
to
that's why I
smoke
make
it.
short cigars.
That's why we have quickies.
But obviously, I
Yeah.
smoke tons of these. I'm kind of addicted to them. It seems lighter than normal to me this morning.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm not, and of course I'm only 1/4 inch in, but sometimes people say, hey, this is an after dinner, sit down, don't move around cigar.
I would
It's
think
not-
so,
See,
yeah.
well, see, it's funny.
Maybe after
Because
lunch.
I'm not getting the fullness yet.
This is not
It
kicking
is
my butt.
light. It's
Not
not.
kicking my butt.
I
but
love the
it's-
taste,
Yeah.
and I would rate it a really solid medium, and I would probably go a few notches above medium.
Right.
But it's definitely not. I don't think it's going to kick your butt.
You know what's funny? I'm starting to taste the raisin.
Oh, and the retro is nice.
Yeah, the word I would describe this with is smooth and sweet.
And complex, I think.
It is complex because if you do a retro hail, it's nutty.
It's evolving, yeah.
It's a little nutty.
Yeah, smooth and sweet sounds a little light to me. It's a complex cigar, I think.
Yeah.
So it's going to give you a lot, which is good. I mean, what's a
Well,
boring smoke?
It's
And I'm
what
not
I'm
getting the
tasting.
pepper.
See,
It's
I
not pepper. It's like
Yeah, I'm not getting.
It's
I
like
get it. I got a
but
red
it's not
pepper.
like a. But it's not like a pepper. It's like you said. It's like a mouthfeel. Like it
Yeah.
was like right
Yeah.
at the back of my tongue.
yeah, I got like a very soft
In the
red
beginning.
pepper because I could feel it.
In the beginning.
I could feel it in my whole palate, like the top of my mouth, the back of my mouth.
Our palates are more advanced than yours.
Oh, I see. Well, I've been doing this for 55 years.
I think you can describe it as a white pepper almost. It's a light pepper.
It's
Really?
it's a
Well,
light.
yeah, it is light, but I went with red because typically I think a red pepper like coats your whole palate. So that's, I mean, we talk a lot about when the flavor of a cigar is
so hard sometimes.
there's the taste, and then sometimes you identify it, because of the mouthfeel. Like I said, I'm getting the spice because I'm feeling it here initially, and now I'm getting the whole mouth. So
I'll tell you one thing, and you should be pleased and happy to hear this. This cigar, to me, anyway, smokes like a much more expensive cigar. I mean, it smokes like
That's
a
a
$15
good
to
point.
$20 cigar.
That's a good
We're
point.
trying to make it taste like a $15 cigar, package it like a $15
It looks
cigar,
like
Yeah.
yeah.
and then put it in there and go, okay, hey, it's $8, $8, $9. And we do that at the show. We go up and go, what do you think you could sell for that in your store?
Yeah.
And the average was $12 to $16. And we go, good, it's $8, $9. So obviously we sell
That's where
10
you
of them.
want to be.
I
You
think
want
it
to be
was-
tied in there.
Your
Yeah.
packs are a great idea. I love how you switch them up. You got the Toro and the 6x60, but you have different ones in there. Like the Toro, I believe you have the Covenant in there.
Again, we switch them up. So we put anything you
Yeah.
want in there. We
It's
try to make
I
it.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it though. It's because it's the Toro and the Gordo, so you're like, you can actually pick both packs because there's different ones in there. It's not like it's the same exact one
Right,
in the size. you
It's
know
a
what I
great
mean?
way to get people to try
Oh
our
my
stuff
God,
because
yeah.
the price on them is about 40% off our normal cost.
Yeah, you subsidize them, we subsidize
Right.
them to get them to try it, get people to try the cigar.
Again,
Because
we
it's harder for them to go in and be like, okay, I'm going to spend this much on one that I know nothing about. But then when you give them a great price and a pack at a variety, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to try this. And then they go in the humidor and they're like, I'm buying that cigar.
and we established ourselves with that stuff before. To be honest with you, I live in San Diego.
Not a bad place to live.
Not too bad. Average temperature in the winter 72, in the summer 75. So it's okay.
It's hot in the summer.
But what I'm saying is that of course we worked a lot in Texas
Jealous.
before we did here. We did Florida, we did Denver, so we're a lot more established in other territories than we are up in New York. Now, of course, you see me all the time now. I'm coming up
Right.
here every 6 or 8 weeks. We do have a great rep up here. Been for a year and a half. So that's the difference here. We'll do what we did in those other states, but if you go to Texas, you can't tell the difference between Esteban Carreras and a larger brand like LaFleur or Oliva or something like
Yeah,
that. We
good
got
foot-
just
good
as much
foot- good
shelf
foot-
space there.
footprint, yeah.
But I know all the guys there. I've known them for 8, 9 years. Here,
Yeah.
I'll come work Philadelphia for a week, and then I'll go work Jersey with John. Then we'll go work DC. So I don't get to see you over and over and over like I
Right.
think you will this year. And John's up here just doing a great job.
He is.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Good job.
He's fabulous. He's a great seller.
So what else is on the drawing board?
Well, again, we only release one cigar a year.
that's what we're asking.
Now, what we do is during the year is we release maybe a different size. So with Hellcat, we just released a 4.5 by 44, kind of a dog walker.
Ooh, yes.
As you know, we sell a
Yeah,
lot of
one
those
cigar.
Chupitas that are 4 by
I like the
44.
little ones, and
That's
the
a winner
Chupitas
cigar.
are my
That's a good
favorite,
winner
by the
cigar.
way.
This one we gave you an extra half inch because a lot of times we go, we want that half an inch. Go, man, we got to throw it away. But so and
Size
then
matters.
it's right at a $5 price point. Which when you look at it, that
yeah.
premium of a cigar, other brands are $6.50, $7. So for $5, and people come in the stores and they go, how many you got? And they go, I don't know, 7.
Wow.
Because they just grab a handful.
Yeah.
But it's good for that. Sometimes you smoked a cigar and you don't want another whole one, and then you get that half of one, or you just got that 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
And like you say, a dog walker.
Yeah, we sell and in cold weather, of course. That's something else.
We're into that here.
What got you into the cigar business?
I bought a store on about my 4th cigar. So I went into the store, and it was 1997. Of course, the boom, everything's going
Yep.
crazy.
Yep.
And started smoking cigars, and I went in the store, and they go, hey, we're going to close. And I go, well, what do you want for this store? And they go, 15 grand. I go, I'll give you 12. I had about 4 beers in me. And they go, sold. So I went in the next day and go, so what do we do around here? And they go, oh, we sell cigars. But they were having a hard time getting cigars because it was,
Yeah,
97.
hard to get, yeah.
But I kept the kid who was working in there. He's about 30 years old, and he goes, "Hey, our convention's next week." I go, "We have a convention? How cool is that?"
You're talking about the IPR?
More beer.
You're talking about the IPR?
RTDA back in the
okay,
day.
that's
man.
right,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
RTDA,
You
yeah.
really, you really boned up in the industry.
Yeah. So
Stuck right up on them.
right. So we go. Oh, you want to go? He goes, "Yeah." So we went to Tennessee, and at that time, when
was
you went
high
through,
school, yeah.
you remember it was not
No.
opening new accounts, not opening new
No,
accounts.
no.
Oh, wow.
So not knowing anything, I went there with a suit on and a big wad of $50 bills and my financials, and go, "Come on, we're going to go over here." And first store I went to, first place I went up to Ashton.
God.
And Chip, who was my rep, who's now the international
Yeah.
world sells to the whole galaxy.
Chip's an old buddy.
Wow.
But he was my rep back in California, and I said, "Hey, I'd like to open an account." And they go, "Well, kind of," and I showed him all my stuff. And he goes, "Okay." And then my guy goes, "Come on, let's go to the bar, we'll keep some." They were buying stuff third hand, fake Monte Cristo Dominicans
Yeah.
for $12 a piece back then.
Wow.
So I said, we're going to go over to Villazon, and we're going to go to the other stuff, with people at Key in general. Well, being from San Diego, there was a guy standing there selling my stuff to me. He spoke Spanish, so a Mexican guy to me. Because I'd never met a Cuban guy in San Diego. We don't have any. So he goes, yeah, let's go back in the back over here and we'll, I'll show you some stuff. I got a 92 rating cigar. So I look at my guy and I go, 92 rating, what is that, out of 1,000, out of 100? And he goes, and it was a Sosa number 2, if you remember Sosa number 2 back there. It was a good cigar.
The Wavell, the number 2.
It was a
The
torpedo.
Wavell and the number 2, yeah.
So we went back there and, yeah, so we bought some Sosa number 2s, and then he had some Arturo Fuentes that had fallen off a truck someplace,
Oh, wow.
European sizes. So I bought 13 sizes of Arturo Fuente,
Remember
and
when all that was going on.
Yeah.
I remember that.
so I come back 2 weeks later. All the stores were barren in California because you couldn't get cigars. 2 weeks later, I got a full humidor.
Hmm.
And they go, where'd you get all this stuff? I go, I know people in this business. Come on, I've been at it 2 weeks. so then that same Cuban guy says, hey, about a month later, he goes, hey, do you want to come out to Miami? I got some guys that make bundles that can sell stuff. So we go back there. I fly out there and we go down to Little Miami or Little Havana. And there's a razor wire and an industrial thing and a 3-legged dog and a guy leaning and we go back behind the thing.
That's Miami.
And we actually sat on 5-gallon buckets at a card table, had my first Cuban coffee, and the guy's negotiating with the guy in Spanish, buying bundles for $15 and selling them to me for 19. I go, hey, I live in San Diego.
You speak
I
Spanish.
speak that much Spanish. Well, that was Gilberto Oliva.
Oh, God.
So I've been in the business now a month, and I'm sitting there buying bundles off Gilberto Oliva, but he didn't have a brand yet.
No, not good.
So
Okay.
we bought a bunch of stuff there, and then we went down the street to another guy, same situation, Guillermo Rico.
Oh, God.
Then he called a guy, one of his other buddies, came over and sold me some stuff out of his trunk, Nick Perdomo.
Get out.
So now
That's how
I
it
love what his
started.
name
That's
is.
how it started.
so
People don't realize
yeah.
all these guys started out like that.
We were buying Cuban bullets and Nick
out.
sticks.
Nick
Back-
Sticks.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Wow. I remember the
bullets.
Cuban bullets
Yeah.
and the Nick sticks.
Yeah.
So I went brought stuff back, and now I'm paying 80, 90 cents a stick for it, but I'm selling them for $6 or $7, and they're good sticks. And then I've got the whole little humidor, tiny little humidor, nothing like this, what you got here. And he calls me, goes, hey, do you want to go to Nicaragua about 2 months later? I go, yeah, I'll go to Nicaragua, what the heck? So I go to Miami. We flew down to Nicaragua, and back then nobody went to Nicaragua. There was no tours or anything. The Cubans are going, why would somebody come here to look at the stuff? So I got my camera and I go, so the driver picks us up and he goes, you have to go to this guy's office. And I'm going, we're sitting there talking about fishing and stuff in Spanish for 2 hours, and I go, come on, I want to go to the fields and take pictures. I want to go, let's get out of this guy's office. That was Nestor Placencia's office. So now I'm in the business 2 years, probably the
And
number one guy in
yeah,
tobacco
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
in there. So still, Nestor is a good friend of mine. I've known him for 21 years now.
Yeah.
And he'll come across, you know, to me, because everybody's all, there's Nestor Placencia. He'll come across the room, give me a hug, and they go, how do you know him? Like, I've known him for
Yeah, forever.
way back.
Yeah.
Great guy. And then even his son, you know, Nestor Andreas,
Yeah.
well, they call him Gordo. Well, he was only Gordo when he was 1. But all the Cubans still call him Gordo.
Gordo, yeah, he's not bad at it.
So now, he thinned up when he was 2 years old.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious. That's my son's
But we
name.
still call him,
Yeah.
Gordo.
we still
Yeah.
call him Gordo, but people go, why do you call him Gordo? I go, that's because 20 years ago,
He was a fat baby.
he was fat. So that was my first 3 months in the business. So
Wow.
That's a great
That's
story.
fantastic. I love that.
That's a great story.
And
It
you
just
never
all
looked
came
back.
together.
Oh no! So then it was. So we used to go down there and we used to roll cigars with a small amount of tobacco, and we'd come back 3 months later and smoke it. And I go, how come nobody uses this for their blends? And they go, there's not enough of it. You can't make that much of it. So I go, well, how many can you make? And they go, maybe 1,000 boxes a month. And I go, well, then I want to start my own brand, because at that point, Phil Zangi. Do you know Phil Zangi?
Yeah.
Owned Indian
I don't
Tobacco
know
Cigar.
a person, I know the name.
So Phil Zangi came from Dana Point.
Mhm.
So when I bought my store, they didn't have a lot of stock, but Phil lived down the street, so he'd go down and sell him some Indian tobacco from his car stock and take a little money out of the
Right.
cash register, so that we had Indian tobacco in there. So I go, okay, Phil Zangi, seems like a great guy, didn't get to meet him then, but I picked up the phone to call him. Guess who answers the phone? Rocky Patel.
Yeah.
Well, Rocky Patel's selling Indian tobacco at that point. And Rocky was a lawyer out in Los Angeles before
Yeah.
that, but at that point he was in Napa, and he's got a little 800 square foot humidor
Yep.
with him,
That's
Patrick
how he started.
Vivolo,
Yep.
Sammy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were all working this little tiny thing with a little chalkboard going, we got to sell 50 boxes today. This is our goal. It's a little bigger now.
Yeah, a
Yes.
little, just a little.
But they wouldn't let me have that tobacco because they go, Craig, we get gringos down here all the time, bring down $1 million, we make them whatever they want, and we never see them again. So they taught me how to put some humidors up. So I started putting humidors in the golf courses, the hotels. Now we have over 700 in California.
Wow.
But we're in Mexican markets or a fruit stand or it doesn't matter where we go now. If we can sell 3 cigars a day, that humidor, we can make some money off
Yes,
this. I've got 3 guys that go out and sell that stuff, and every 6 weeks put in 100 cigars and we can make some money on that. So they were kind of all, you know, Nestor and those guys are shipping me a lot of cigars to California. They used to call me Georgie from the movie Blow,
Oh, God.
because he was the guy connection with
Yeah,
California.
yeah,
So they
yeah,
were just
yeah.
shipping me stuff out all the time and doing. And I said, I want to make my own brand. And they go, you're just going to lose money. You can't have your own brand, Dringo. So then, but then I talked to Rocky, who needed a little bit more production in El
Right.
Pariso
Yeah.
to be able to, you know, kind of assume that factory.
Right.
So I made some stuff, lost a lot of money for 4 years. So I did it one more month at a time. I'll lose 10 more grand this month, and that's it. But I did that for 4 years. When we came out with Diez Años, that was something that did really well. And we started making that money. But at that point, I needed more production because Rocky just came out with 1992, so it blew up, and I wasn't getting my stuff.
Yeah, that blew up, yeah.
And then the next year, Edge. So that came out, and that was gigantic.
That was a big one,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a huge one.
So Nestor and Jesus Fuego and the Olivas had this kid that was coming over, and they go, he needs some production. So me and my buddy Carlos gave a kid $5,000 a piece. That was AJ Fernandez.
That was
Got
a
him
good
started.
thing, yeah.
And then what happened
Wow,
was
That was a long
we were doing
time.
really well with 187, 5150. Habana you still got AJ and I were making in a little house. So, but then Rocky got, you know, hey, they're making great cigars. So Rocky came over there. And then they were making a cigar for a competitor of yours. You probably know who it is. And then they started. So now they're making 1 million cigars a year for Rocky and for the other guys. And all of a sudden I'm calling up and going, hey, AJ, I'm coming down. They go, well, Nimish from Rocky's coming down. Next there, Alex is coming down next week. And I couldn't quite get down in there anymore with my little 10,000 cigars a month.
I hate to stop you, but we gotta put the review in, the ratings.
Yes.
And you're gonna have to talk quick.
Very complex, smooth,
It's a great story. I
sweet.
hate to stop you.
I'm giving this a 9. This is 9 out of 10.
Okay.
New to the industry.
I'm up to speed on the ratings now, 20 years later.
This is a phenomenal cigar. I'm giving this a 9.5.
Wow.
This is a great cigar.
Yeah?
I'm going to agree with Scott and give it a 9. Really good.
Well, those of you who've been watching the show for the past 5 years know that I really like a good dark cigar, especially one that's
And
sweet.
not plugged.
And not plugged, yeah. I'm giving this a 950.
Thank you.
I really, really like
It's
this
worth
cigar.
it.
And what I really like about the cigar, not only is it well made, draws easy, it's the right price.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I say, it smokes like a $15 to $20 cigar.
And it looks like it too.
Now,
We draw test every single cigar. We have a supervisor for every 5 pair. We only have 25 pairs. Gonzalo Puentes, who has 2 doctorates from University of Havana and a master's degree in agriculture, used to be in charge of all the tobacco over there. He said, I'd like to run a 25 pair. He ran Eduardo Fernandez's factory. Don
Wow.
Pepin worked for him in Cuba and worked for him in Nicaragua.
we're going to be running some great promotions on these cigars in the coming weeks. Watch your email. Chiron will be coming right across your screen telling you kind of what we're doing. I implore you to come try one. Maybe try the value pack.
Oh my gosh.
Get a great bargain. And until next Tuesday night.
Have a good
bye-bye for
night.
now.
Smoke sweet.
Life's too short to spend.